Less than 5 years ago, South Africa's Devon Peterson was arguably one of, if not the best darts player in the whole world for a brief period, but he's now suffering shocking defeats from embarrassing averages in games he should never be losing. Hello and welcome back to the Darts World channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the full story of Devon's shocking downfall from being one of the best in the world to suffering the most embarrassing loss of his professional career just a few days ago. So make sure to stay tuned to find out exactly what's happened. Devon Peterson only began playing darts competitively aged 17, but he quickly became one of the top young players in Africa, reaching the final of the 2009 South African World Championship qualifier, where he lost in the decider to Les Francis before reversing that result in the following year to secure an Ali Pali debut. On the famous stage, he began with a deciding leg prelim round win over Guyana's Norman Madu, playing using darts that were given to him by none other than Phil Taylor after Devon asked him for advice at an event in South Africa. In round 1, he faced Jamie Caven and lost 3-1, but he did not go straight back to South Africa, opting to stay in the UK to attend PDCQ school in mid-January, where, on day 2, he won 5 games to get to the last 4 and secure his PDC tour card. This changed Peterson's life, and he made the difficult decision to move to the UK to pursue his darting dreams and become South Africa's first professional player. However, at the end of the 2012 season, he chose to relinquish his tour card as he had to recover from an arm injury. Devon made his return at the South African World Championship qualifier towards the end of the year and won it for a third time, beating Graham Philby in the final. After a comfortable prelim round win on his Ali Pali return, Devon beat Steve Beaton, a former BDO World Champion, 3-1 and moved through to the second round. He then faced Justin Pipe and took out a huge 130 finish on the ball to take a 3-1 lead along the way to a 4-1 win. In the next round, Peterson was outclassed by James Wade and he lost 4-0. Devon attempted to qualify for the World Championship again through the same route in 2014, but he was beaten in the final. He attended Q School at the start of 2015 in an attempt to regain a tour card, and on day 2, he managed to win 6 straight games to secure a Pro Tour return. At that year's UK Open, he went on an amazing run, beating Matt Clark, Mark Cox, Mark Bareilles, Jamie Caven and Eddie Dootson to reach his first major quarter-final, where he was beaten 10-5 by MVG despite averaging 98. At the end of 2016, Devon managed to qualify for Ali Pali through the Pro Tour Order of Merit for the first time in his career, but on the stage he lost 3-1 to Steve Beaton in round 1 with an average of just 79. He struggled in 2017, not making it to the quarterfinals of any event, but he was controversially given a place at Ali Pali as he was the highest placed African player on the PDC Order of Merit. He faced Darren Webster and went 2-0 down in sets in round 1, but managed to force the deciding set, which he lost 3-0. In 2018, he dominated at the South African qualifier to make it back to Ali Pali, where his first round game against Wayne Jones went to a sudden death leg. Peterson missed 7 match darts in this crazy leg, and Jones missed 6 of his own, but Devon eventually managed to win, hitting double 2 with his last dart in hand. Peterson's second round tie against Ian White went to a tiebreak, which he managed to win, and he then faced Steve West, who he beat 4-2 to make it through to the last 16. He then lost to Nathan Aspinall in a deciding set, but it had been a great run for Devon. He won the South African qualifier again in the following year, but on the stage he lost 3-1 to Luke Humphreys. But this is when everything began to change for Devon. He'd shown signs of improvement in the past couple of years, with his seasonal Players' Championship average going from 87.18 in 2018, which was the 158th best on tour, to 92.26 in 2019, which was the 58th best, but he then improved again massively. Around this time, he moved from Unicorn to Trinidad and began using new darts as well as Condor flights. After first round exits at the first 4 Players' Championships of 2020, he reached his first PDC semi-final. That run included a stunning 111 average to beat Neil Zonneveld and a 105 average to beat Dimitri Vandenberg. Devon showed this wasn't a fluke by reaching the last 16 at the next event, where he averaged 104 in a win over Glenn Durran. Then, as Devon was getting to its peak, the tour was paused for 4 months due to the coronavirus pandemic. However, when the tour returned, he he was still on great form as he'd been practicing for 4 to 6 hours a day at home. In the 5th event back, he got to the semi-finals, beating Michael van Gerwen in a decider along the way. He lost in a decider to Gerwin Price despite averaging in excess of 113. In the next event, he also reached the semis, beating Price in a decider on the way with a 107 average, but he lost to Mados Razma in a sudden death leg. A few events later, he got to his first PDC final, whitewashing MVG and hitting a 110 average against Nathan Aspinall on the way. In the final, he lost to Gerwin Price despite averaging 6 points more than the Welshman. He missed 4 match darts during the game. However, he would not have to wait long for his first PDC title, as in the second Euro Tour event of the year, which was the German Darts Championship, he became the first African winner of a PDC ranking title. During this run, Devon beat Gerwin Price and Rob Cross in deciding legs with 10 plus averages in back-to-back rounds. He also averaged over 100 in his semi-final, where he beat Danny Noppert, and in the final, where he beat Johnny Clayton. Around this time, there was generally a case for him being the best player in the world, and he could have easily come away with more titles if things went slightly differently. Part of his success back then is attributed to none other than Wayne Mardle, who coached Devon at his home practice room around the time. In November of 2020, he reached his first major semi-final when he won 3 straight games at the European Championship, 2 with a 10 plus average, before losing in a decider to James Wade. He ended the 2022 Pro Tour season with an average of 96.69, which was the 8th highest of any player. At the World Championships, he dropped 1 set in Game 3 of the first 2 rounds, before losing 4-0 to Gary Anderson in the last 16, despite averaging 95. Then his downfall truly began, with a wrist injury giving him the dilemma of either having a surgery, which would have forced him to miss several months of action, or trying to change his throw to try and reduce the pain. He chose to change his throw slightly, and it took him a while to adapt to it, and 6 months to be able to play without pain. His average in Pro Tour events in 2021 fell to 89.96, which was the 97th highest. He only averaged over 100 twice that year, with both of them coming in back-to-back games, and put in a concerning 77 average at a Players' Championship event. He then averaged 87 and was beaten 3-0 by Raymond Smith in his first game at the 2022 World Championship. In the 2022 season, he didn't make it past the last 16 of any non-qualifying event, and he didn't hit a 10 plus average. His average during this year fell further to 88.55, which was the 125th highest. He didn't appear at the 2023 World Championship after surprisingly losing to Grant Sampson in the quarter-finals of the South African qualifier. Peterson described going from winning a Euro Tour to regularly averaging in the high 70s and low 80s as shambolic. His average for the 2023 season fell even lower to 82.74, which was the 3rd lowest of all the players to play more than 10 games, and he only managed to win 3 Players' Championship matches all season. His incredibly poor form meant that he ended the year ranked 110th in the world and lost his tour card, meaning he would no longer be on the Pro Tour for the first time in a decade if he was unable to win it back at Q-School. Devon was exempt through to the final stage of Q-School, but he only won 3 games across the 4 days, only averaging above 90 in one of his 7 games and averaging just 68.82 in one of them. However, despite not being on the tour anymore, there was still hope for Devon to make the World Cup, which he was on a 10-year streak of playing in, and make it back to Ali Pali through the African qualifiers. In the semi-finals of the South African Open, which was the qualifier for the World Cup team, Devon averaged 85 and was beaten 7-3 by Johan Heldenhuis, who went on to make the team alongside Cameron Carolison. This was very disappointing for Devon, as it meant that he would miss the event for the first time since his injured spell back in 2013. But he still had the chance to qualify for Ali Pali through the qualifier hosted by the African Darts Group, which he's involved with running. In the first knockout game, Devon was drawn against Kenya's Jefferson Maruthi in a 1-4 game, and he managed to go 2-0 up despite starting poorly with legs of 23 and 20 darts. In leg 3, he missed multiple darts at double 1, allowing Maruthi to hit that target himself to get a leg on the board. Devon then won the following leg in 21 darts to go 3-1 up and a leg away from the win, and in the following leg he missed 7 match darts, allowing Maruthi to close the gap. Jefferson then won the next leg in 27 darts, with Devon not even getting match darts in that leg to force a sudden death decider. Peterson had the throw and got a shot at 18 for the match, but he messed it up and chose to leave double one. He then missed 3 darts at double one across 2 visits, while Jefferson missed his own match darts before hitting double six to get a shocking win. Maruthi had averaged just 54.43 and Devon 58.68, a far cry from his insane form a few years earlier. Whilst those losses will obviously be very hard for him to take, Devon's been doing some great things away from the hockey during his injured period and poor form, including founding a company known as Dartboard Maths, which is helping children to learn maths whilst playing darts. That, combined with his work to promote and grow darts within Africa, means he's no longer fully reliant on being a competitive pro. But he's obviously keen to keep playing to a high level, as he's going to be playing in the Modus Super Series this week. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think the future holds for Devon in terms of his playing career. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, as currently just 15% of my viewers are, and it would really help the channel out. You can also hit the bell icon if you want to get notified whenever I upload a brand new darts video, and also make sure to like if you've watched until the end.